All right, let's find out. I'm gonna Nope, we're still on. The episode has the pre-show. Let's look and see. There's a. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it looks like it's still. Okay, yeah. All right, we're good. We're rolling. Okay.
We were both like, "What the hell?"
uh, so thanks everybody. Sorry about that. Apparently, Gary, you have Spectrum, right?
Yes, as do you.
As do I. Apparently, Spectrum was like, "Fuck y'all," like, boop.
Even though we're in two different states and we're roughly 5.5 hour drive time away from each other, Spectrum was like, "That's enough of you spilling tea. Disconnect."
Disconnect. You're done. Goodbye.
And I'm thinking, bitch, the finale was 2 days ago. The whole world knows who won. Like, that's just not a reason to cut us off. Whatever.
Gosh. Anyway.
That's gonna be fun for a audio edit. Anyways.
Tell me that. Yes.
All right. So as I was attempting to say, when it came to the runway, I was like, yes, no, no, yes. It was very simple. Two of them
Yeah.
I thought delivered. Two of them not quite so much. Well, that's not true. One of them didn't necessarily deliver. One of them over delivered. What I was saying is with Naomi, I just felt she was doing too much fashion. Like it was too much Project Runway meets Next Top Model. Like it was almost like it was a different competition in her head. And I was like, girl, I get that you're a fashion queen, but like that's just too much. Like there was so much of it and not enough of her, I think,
Yeah.
and the dragginess of
Yeah.
it.
Potentially, yeah. I think it where there's this whole like wearing the garment or the garment wears you kind of thing. Maybe that's kind of what we're feeling. Like maybe it just was while it looks great, it's mm, mm, meh. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry
Sorry,
about that.
I'm trying to reply to the live stream. Uh, so now that that's over,
Yeah.
let's see if we can go back to where we were and pick up from there on the next thing. I'm trying to think what. Okay, so let's do this. Before I play the audio clip, so we have four queens that are now at reaching
Yeah.
the end, right?
So really quick before you say this, one of the problems that I had, as I've mentioned in this episode so far, that I was watching this live with a bunch of people, um, not live but live-ish. Someone had DVRs and they were basically streaming their DVR. Um, I didn't hear when Rue was came into the workroom at the very beginning that there was going to be a final four and there was going to then be a final two. The two would lip sync for their legacy. So I
Oh,
totally missed that part because people were like blah 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 bitching and talking away, and I didn't hear that, and that made me kind of mad. But listening to it today, and I'm so glad I did because I was gagged when she knocked it down to two.
okay.
So as you see, now
Yes.
you'll see.
So
Like yeah,
we've got Trinity, Monique, Naomi, Monet, like from their original promo shot stills.
mm-hmm,
And, it comes to the lip sync moment that
mm-hmm.
we're going to have all the girls come back. So, yes, on the stage, we get all four girls.
In their
Uh, in their
leotarded.
in their in their dance outfits. Notably, we were talking about memos. Monet didn't seem to get the memo that the number was to be done in black because she's wearing red sequin spangly, and then, well, actually, it is kind of funny. Then Monique is next to her with black with a red heart, and then
uh-huh.
Naomi is in all black, and then Trinity is in black with a little bit of color, like sort
Yeah.
of iridescent green or something. So yeah, it kind of cracked me up in that case. So this is what I'm talking about earlier in Monique's like runway. Look at that. There's the heart with the piercing with the little crown. Like it's kind of her brand emblem logo, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So and she got her Tina Turner wig on, or
Mm-hmm.
type Tina Turner wig. And she's Naomi. This is one of the best hair I've ever seen on Naomi. I love this Hollywood bombshell, like
Mm-hmm.
big honey blonde. Like her face, her mug, like her hair, it looks so good in this outfit. What is difficult to tell is that this on the front is a big black bow
Yeah.
that's like all sparkly. Like it's just a little kind of criticism thing. I'm like, girl, when you put black on black on black, black does not show easily. Like, come on. It's like it was just one of these things that kind of bugged me about her outfit. So yeah, so like you said, like all four come walking out, and Rue, had stated at the beginning, about how things were gonna go. So I kind of thought it was gonna play out the way it was going to play out.
Mm.
Meaning that they were going to get cut down. So at the very beginning of the episode, I don't have the images loaded. They split the girls, the four of them, into two pairs: Naomi and Trinity, and Monet and Monique. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a weird, like, way they edited and put them together for conversations where they're writing their
Mm-hmm.
lyrics,
Yeah.
because notably, Monet and Monique have a moment and they talk about the importance of a queen of color winning, and if it's the two of
Mm-hmm.
them that are the top two,
Yep.
like how much more
'Cause-
that drives the odds, that kind of stuff.
and how they're both from season 10, which is, for everyone that knows, the most recent season before this, All Stars began. So they literally like left All Star or left season 10, got the call for All Stars, and came back.
Right.
Um, so they didn't have a whole lot of time to really maybe not do so much. So it's awesome that two queens who were literally just on the show have made it to the finale.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to them.
Yeah, so I mean, these conversations were really interesting. Trinity and Naomi kind of talk about their nerves and their concerns about, making it to the finale and what they're going to do. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was odd, and I wondered if it was an editor like tip of the hat to like who the final two would be.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that started of the episode, it made me think it was going to be one pair or the other. So then I was like, oh,
Mm.
I don't
Oh,
know how
that would.
I don't know how I feel about this, because if it's
Mm-hmm.
Monet and Monique, I'm really excited about it. But that kind of sucks because Trinity has been in the lead. So,
Yeah.
and I already voiced last week that I didn't want Naomi to win. So I was kind of confused. And then on the other hand, if it was Naomi and Trinity that are top two, then we end up with the potential that despite the odds, Trinity wins overall. And then this whole issue about it being an all white Hall of Fame doesn't go away.
Yep.
So, and nothing against Naomi, while she is a queen of color, I think she could be confused sometimes as a queen who is not necessarily of color. And I'm not trying to be an asshole about it.
No, no,
I
no,
just
no, no.
like looking at these four right now, like Naomi
Yeah.
looks really tan.
Not necessarily. I think it's like if you look at her face, just no offense, but she definitely has an African American esque face. I think honestly, I so let's just spill some real quickly some tea on this whole like Queen of Color like thing going on. Yes, it's important. Yes, it needs to be, like we've had this going on for a while. Everyone, justice for Shangela, just kind of thing is very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was very much a weird thing that happened last season where they threw the top two in and they had the judges, the jury, whatever, and they all ended up picking, other queens and not necessarily the one who won, who had been winning challenges and everything else. And it became this very odd situation where where whoever the production or whoever like made this decision to do this thing, put this out there. We ended up with what we got, which was you had Trixie and Kennedy. And while Kennedy is a queen of color, she hadn't been doing so great in the season, like just overall. We all know that. So again, what I didn't want to have happen, and this is just me spilling like my tea, is while I love Naomi, and I know she's a queen of color, I would not have wanted her to win like you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not have wanted her to win just because she's a queen of color. And that's kind of my biggest like spill tea moment here. Like if it were Naomi and Trinity, like you were thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I would have wanted Trinity to win,
Mm-hmm.
despite her being not being a queen of color. It would have sucked for everyone, considering like you mentioned. So Gary gave a very awesome like kind of run through before the episode aired about like pros and cons about the top four.
Mm-hmm.
And basically one of the bigger pros for most of them was the queen of color aspect of it, because it's been like everyone has been talking about this, that we need to kind of get over this, like not over it, but it needs to kind of happen. And you had a season that was literally stacked with queens of color, and would it have been super fucking awkward? Oh yeah, like I bet Wow and RuPaul and all of them, if it had come down, I'm just gonna go like this. If it had come down to Naomi and Trinity won, the people of color would have lost their ever fucking loving minds, you know. And while again, no disrespect to Trinity and her talent and her abilities and what have you, it it would have just kind of proven something that has kind of been clear for a while with regards to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Having said that, Naomi shouldn't just win just because she's a queen of color.
Amen.
Monet shouldn't just win because she's a queen of color. Monique shouldn't just win just because she's a queen of color. Like I want to get that out there like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that they are queens of color should not be the reason why they won. We shouldn't have to, as I mentioned, I think off last week, we shouldn't have the affirmative action this shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, this is me spilling real tea about this. Like, I don't think we need to like have a queen of color just because we need to have a queen of color. It needs to be a real, genuine like win, like someone who has done a lot of work and won. So as you look at this track record, as we said, Trinity's technically in the lead with four. She's had
Mm-hmm.
4 wins, you know, what have you. According to this episode, um, Monet and Monique are tied for 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then Naomi has 1. So if you just went on track record alone, there's your 4, like first, second, third, first tied for second, fourth.
Right.
So is it good? Not necessarily, but it would have been something to it would have been something to have to talk about. And given the situation and the country and everything that's been going on and blah blah blah. And I think Monet and Monique mentioned this in in their talk. Like, it is a great thing, but as someone who is a person of color, it shouldn't be the only thing.
Right.
So, sorry about that, y'all. I had to.
No, I think you're bringing something, about this platform issue that's been going on for many months, that your words resonate more than mine do. I'm just, another fat white man that watches Drag Race and wants to say things. And, I can't speak on the behalf of, all the communities, just like you can't. Yeah. But the reality is, like, going into this season, that was one of the things that was noted. 8 out of 10, 80% of the contestants were queens of color. Like, how much more do you need to try to make a queen of color win if that's an ultimate goal? Like, the only other thing you could have done was just not had Trinity and not had Farrah, and brought in 2 other queens of color. Like, bring in another, bring in a Puerto Rican, bring in a Latin, like.
Yeah, it just would have been very just odd. And that's the thing I don't want like to, again, I hope doesn't become a thing. Like, we shouldn't have to stack the deck.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't have to stack the deck in hopes that we'll get a queen of color at the end. Like, it should, but again, it should be based on your ability and your talent and what you can do and how you perform and how well you represent the franchise.
Out of everything that you said, the only thing I want to pinpoint or come on to like and discuss briefly is ability is a little different than skill and talent.
True.
Ability means that you've got backing. Ability means that people like you and they support you and they tip you
True.
and they give you money and you get same billing as any other queen that's out there. And that is an
True.
issue that consistently has been brought up by the Vixen, by Shea Coulee, by Bob the Drag Queen, like all of these
True.
queens of color who are being very vocal. I appreciate very much following them on social media because they call it out and say, but I don't get the same amount of gigs. I don't get the same amount of pay necessarily. I don't get the same amount of promo. And I was an
Yeah.
ignorant white Drag Race fan for years until the Vixen came on and then kind of was like, hold up. That is not going to be my narrative. We are not having this. And all of a sudden I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, all right. Like, I've
And
been oblivious to this.
agree. And even as someone who is a person of color, it is true that it's not something that you necessarily think about, but you should.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mean, hell, when Kennedy, the thing that Kennedy mentioned in her like wanting to win the title was the fact that she wasn't getting like the fans and the fandom and the what have you that everyone else was getting. And is that because of her personality? It might have something to do with it, but it might also be the fact that she's a um, queen of color,
Mm-hmm.
who definitely has a unique personality and voice and what have you. And while she can dance the house down and perform like nothing else, I bet she probably has a problem doing and getting gigs as compared to someone who's probably very similar to her who might not be a queen of color.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, having said all that,
So we get to
as
this
we've
moment.
veered like
That's all right.
into some things.
Because you know why, children? Kittens, the optics are important for what's about to happen. So
True.
we get to
True.
this moment, and even though we understand, like, sort of what's going to happen, I did think that there might have been two lip syncs coming. I thought
Mm,
for a moment that all four of them were going to lip sync, and then the top two would lip sync after that. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a bit
mm-hmm.
exhausting, but fuck it all. It's the finale of All Stars. Like, let's step up the game, shall we?
Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just say this instead. All right. So, but that's not what happens
No.
in this
No, it is
moment.
not.
My heart broke, honestly, when this moment happens because all four of them come out and then immediately two of them are cut
Mm-hmm.
right then and there. You do not pass go. You do not collect $100,000 possibility. You just get to go to the back of the stage looking pretty.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that happens to Miss Monique Hart
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Naomi Smalls.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that.
I agree. I was not upset that it happened. I just was a little surprised at the way
Yeah.
it got
I was
handled.
surprised the first time, but that was for me because I didn't hear the announcement the first time. My watching the episode, I watched it today before we started airing, because I wanted to hear the things that I missed,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew I'd missed some things and maybe minor things, but the big thing I missed was obviously that they're going to go to a 2 from 4 to 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big thing compared to because of what happens here.
Right.
Um, and here we are with those two.
So here's one of the things that, like, before we talk about this picture. So, yes, we now are down to 2. Out of 10, it's now going to be Trinity and Miss Monet, who are going to be the last two to lip sync. So this picture, when they say a picture like is what worth 1,000 words or whatever,
Yeah.
girl, this is worth like 1,000 reads. So I'm gonna start with Monique on the right. This face gives no fucks. You can tell that she is processing and trying to handle her emotions because she is now no longer in contention. She is not in the running. She is not gonna get the crown.
No.
She got
And
close. She got real close.
Yep. It's a look of defeat almost.
Yeah.
She's not quite there yet, but it's definitely like I did the best I could and it still wasn't good enough, and at least not this time. But I will say, like, one of the things that we got in her like confessional like chat was she knows that this isn't the end, and
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Like Monique, of all the queens in this season, Monique has been just hilarious and awesome. I can see her hosting shows. I can see her hosting a talk show. I can see her um, doing a thing for WoW. I see all these things that she could potentially do and just be her.
Right.
And, and then also on the flip of that, she has this very unique and tragic-ish backstory, to her that makes her a relatable character.
Right. The fact that she is from New York City, moved to Kansas City for college, is in a very spiritual religious family, very involved in the church, was 300 pounds, lost weight. That was a whole revelation this episode we didn't get from her
Mhm.
first season. Like, girl has been through a lot, done
Yes.
so much, and achieved so much that to get to this point, while dissatisfying and disappointing, like you said, is not the
Mhm.
end. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, I have loved Monique from the first moment she showed up and squeeched onto the screen, and
Uh-huh.
with all her catchphrases from last season. I was like, I want to see this bitch. I want to see this bitch live because she's funny as hell. She's ridiculous. She's crazy. She's over the top. And she hasn't changed. She's still the same. Like, watching, videos of her, like at live viewing parties, and she talks on the microphone. Like, she's an entertainer,
Hmm.
and all be all. So Miss Naomi Smalls, this captured moment cracks me up to no end because she can't help herself. She's still serving like this model thing.
Oh.
She looks like a sex doll in this moment. It's so crazy to me. Big juicy pouty lips, this whole this face. Like, I don't know what was happening in this moment when this happened. They showed it on the screen, but it just cracked me up. I had to capture it so bad because I was like, wow, talk about two different worlds. Just, they look like night and day next to each other in a way, the way they're reacting
So
in the
true.
moment,
So true.
and still processing and dealing with things. So let's talk about the lip sync.
Hmm.
Monet, Trinity, there's only one thing standing between you and the Drag Race Hall of Fame. Two top all-stars stand before me. Ladies, this is your last chance to impress me and to prove to the world you belong in the Drag Race Hall of Fame. Time has come for you to lip sync for your legacy. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
Hmm.
Talk about one of the most dramatic moments that is going to happen every season is this moment when you get to the end. The
Hmm.
crowning to me is not dramatic. This is literally, as she says it every episode, it's your last chance to impress me. But I mean, this is the end of the road, bitch. It's like there's nowhere else to go after this.
Yep.
Like, either you bring it or you
Or you
don't,
don't.
or you didn't bring it and you go home. Pack your bag.
Hmm.
See you, girl. Yeah. So it's just down to these two. It's Trinity and Monet, and then we get to the actual lip sync. Damon, what are your thoughts on the lip sync for your legacy? Go ahead and say it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Thank God it wasn't a Rue song. Like, I'm not all tea, all shade. I am so fucking glad it wasn't a Rue song. I'm not trying to be mean. Actually, I'm being very mean. Like, I didn't need to hear another Rue song. Like, I understand it's her. Yeah, 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 definitely. Like, fucking shade right there. Um, like, I wanted the thing I wanted the most was just to be like about them as queens, as performers, as entertainers,
Mm-hmm.
and what have you. And that kind of gets distracted when you perform a Rue song. Like, if they had done the same song they just performed, like Super Queen, maybe I would have been okay with it, but I'm glad they didn't. So
Mm-hmm.
instead, they did Fighter by Christina Aguilera. So I'm very happy that they did not do a Rue song because it just would have been, I just would have been done. And it was a good lip sync. they both had their own kind of, moments and talents and trips and tips and tricks and what have you. So kudos to them for both going out there and giving it their best, because this is the last time to do it.
Mm-hmm. My thoughts are what she said. I saw what you wrote on the doc, and I was like, I can't not disagree. You get all the props, David. I have to give them to you, because you were like, thank God it's not another Rue song. And I was like, actually, yes, that is the correct response. I thought it was going to be Super Queen, the goddamn fucking song of the season that they just did the music video to. I thought they were going to have to re-perform it all over again for some damn reason.
So yes, Eric writes in the live chat of the YouTube feed, and that was a lip sync like no other. They turned it out. Agreed. Like, they totally did the song justice. They totally did the lip sync justice and everything else. And it was so entertaining. This is why I watch this show. I love seeing these queens do their lip sync to perform. Cause I love drag queens and I love watching them perform. I love watching them lip sync. And the thing I love the most is when they really get into a song and perform the fuck out of it.
Right.
Like, that's what I want to see. And I felt I got that here from both of them. This was not a like, oh, one's better than the other kind of thing. Maybe. But like, for the most part, like, I got a very entertaining performance from both of them.
Correct. I have to agree. I mean, like, Monet does what Monet does. Monet is like a comedy queen. Like, she's serious and she's beautiful, but she always throws more fun into it. So immediately we get pantomiming the violin from the opening of the song, and look at that look on her face. She is so damn serious. She is like, bitch, you see this? I'm holding a goddamn violin. You best be paying attention. Like,
this is a violin. This is a bass. Like,
right. She is definitely like so in the moment and serious about it. And Trinity is like, if there's ever been a queen to compete against that you don't want to compete against, Trinity is pretty much it. Like, there is nobody that I would be more scared to go up against, because she has so much talent in her in terms of performing. She knows how to dance. She knows how to do all sorts of bendy things with her body. She knows hairography. She knows how to lip sync. Like, she just, she knows. She checks all the boxes. Yeah.
And like, I know Ceci says she's not a choreographer. She doesn't do, like, there's a difference between like dancing in a show and choreograph. And I agree with you. Like, this is sort of almost like improv, like dancing. You're not necessarily doing a routine. You may be able to. Cameron Michaels is a perfect example of someone who I think really thinks through what they do with regards to a song and knows, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen here. And for the most part, you can see that kind of arc.
Right.
Trinity doesn't necessarily always do that. There's a bit of a spontaneity to her performance, which is good and bad in some ways. It can always end badly. We all know that when you're doing something like off the cuff, as it were. Near the end of it, she did kind of try to do a cartwheel, and it kind of didn't work. But then but instead of like, oh, it didn't work, she kind of rolled with it, literally, and ended up on the ground. And it just worked. Like, I noticed it because I watching it the second time. It was like, oh, that was okay. All right, go ahead, go on. You're good. You're fine.
Right.
Like, roll it off. You didn't do it, but that's okay. She knows she's not like she said, she's not a flexible queen, but she was trying to probably do something outside of her wheelhouse to gain some of that like look from the judges.
Right. So they start up the number. They do really well. There is a unpracticed, looks like choreographed shablam type like moment. Monet notably, does a split, and Trinity, also on the floor. And when those moments happen in a lip sync, people kind of lose their minds because it means the queens are in sync, even though they're not doing the same thing. Like,
Yep.
they're paying that much attention to the song. They know when the beats come. They know when the impact needs to be made.
Yep.
I'm actually proud of the fact that Monet did the split, because it probably would have cost her if she'd done the like the fake out that she's so
Yep.
famous for now that she did last season, like in 10.
Yeah.
So I was really happy about that. And then we have to talk about the tricks that come that I wasn't quite expecting, I'll be honest. I mean, this isn't that big of a surprise, but Trinity tears her skirt off and throws it, off stage. As she should, because she paid a lot for that body. So she's going to show it off, This moment after she takes the skirt off and then she squats down at the very edge of the stage so everybody could see her coochie. I'm like, there is a reason why your name is Trinity the Tuck. You are the only queen I think I have ever seen, especially like the way you look in this pose in this moment with your Brazilian wax girl. Like, it's understandable that someone would think that you don't have male genitalia, because
Yeah.
it's frightening how good she looks like this way. I'm like, okay, like don't get me wrong, I've seen many queens who have tucked. I see them do splits. I do see them do all sorts of stuff. But this almost thong-ish fabric type thing, I'm just like, whoa, girl. Like, you best be careful, because shit pops out, and now is not the time. Your stuff must be like, she must have gorilla glued it all into place, because I'm like, the last thing you need is a nut or something to pop out the side. Like, not a good look. Would have been very embarrassing.
Yeah. But I don't think that's what she's known for. Good for her. Go to tuck.
And then we get Monet doing what Monet does. And she makes fun of the fact that it's Christina Aguilera and she does these runs. So she puts on a crazy face, crosses her eyes, like, and the judges laugh. I mean, like, this is what the lip sync is about. You are entertaining.
Exactly.
Period.
Point blank period.
And then comes, which you can't get a good screen cap of, the surprise from Monet, the wig reveal to the same wig underneath. This is the moment right after it happens. I was telling David before we went live tonight how crazy it was to try to capture, because every screenshot is a blur from the moment she snatches the wig till this moment immediately afterwards. It goes so fast. And it's
very quick.
And it looks like the exact same hair. It's so funny.
I didn't even notice it the first time. Like, watching it with everyone else. I know she did something, but I was like, what did she do? Oh, maybe she did something to her hair. And then I noticed, like, the top of the hair looks a little, like,
flat
or something like that. And I'm just like, well, okay, there's the difference. But it's the same. Like, I'll just be honest, it's the same hair. Like we were talking beforehand, she probably did like a little, like maybe did a little scissor cut, maybe a little something to kind of give it a little bit of different dimension than the wig she took off. But it's the same wig. I don't. If it ain't, then I don't know how much you spent on them, but
they look a lot alike.
I want to get your money back. They look a lot alike.
maybe they cousins, not quite twins.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like, one she bought at a boutique store, the other one she bought from Amazon or Wish or something. I don't know.
Whatever.
So
it worked.
Yeah.
But
so
it's fun. It was funny. It caught us off guard, because it's not what, I mean, it's a wig reveal without being a real wig reveal.
Well,
Like, whoop, whoop,
Alaska said it best in the pit stop with Manila for this episode. Alaska said, a reveal is the best when it's a surprise and it goes against tradition. Like, it goes against expectation. That's when surprises work. And what did she do? She did a wig reveal to almost the exact same hair. Like, nobody's done that yet. Nobody's necessarily expected that on the runway of the show. So, yes.
It was kind of a, like, not, and it worked. Like, everyone kind of saw it happen. So good for them.
Yes.
Good for.
And then you get to the end of the song and you get to the final pose. And I did not miss the symbolism. Monet is standing there with both fists up, like boxing, because the song is called Fighter. Trinity has reached the end of the routine. She backbends to the floor. And if you didn't know better, you would think her legs are broken. And she just, like, that's it. She gave it. She gave it all. I was very happy, you know, with the way the song went and how it ended. And this is one of, like, my, like, heartstring moments of the whole thing is after it's over, Monet comes over because they are sisters. It is a drag family. And she helps Trinity get up because she recognizes, like, bitch fell down. You need to get back up, girl. Like, I'm going to win a crown. Get your ass up. Stand over here. Look pretty. Like, like, but I'm not going to leave you on the floor and make it awkward, which has happened before in the herstory. Not all the girls necessarily, you know, are quite so nice to each other. So, and then you get to this moment.
That's why I should put the wig back on.
Well, they do that all the time. Like, anytime there's reveals in the lip sync number, when they go back for the final decision, everything's back to the way it was. Like, the lip sync didn't even happen, which is even funnier to me. So Trinity put the skirt back on. Monet put her hair back on. Like, so then we get to this announcement.
Ladies, I've made my decision. But first, from the Drag Race Hall of Fame, please welcome Chad Michaels, Alaska, and Trixie Mattel.
Oops.
The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars will win a crown and scepter from Fierce Drag Jewels and $100,000. The time has come to crown our queen. Monet Exchange, Trinity the Tuck, the next All-Star to be inducted into the Drag Race Hall of Fame is...
Now, they didn't cut to commercial break in this moment, but it feels like they should have.
Maybe.
Yeah. So here we are. It is the moment everyone's been waiting for. It is the AS4 finale. The last lip sync has happened. Rue is going to announce the winner. We have Chad. We have Alaska. We have Trixie. In one spot to go, girl. This is probably the moment we're going to have the most to talk about.
So, spoiler alert, really quick, just so we can stop. There we go.
Yeah, because this is a thing, you know.
If you ain't seen the episode yet, get ready.
What I need in this moment is Monique Hart in an audio clip talking about the goopery. Because this is when it happens, kids. Because literally in my audio thing over here, it is called goopery. Because yeah, it's a thing that
gets revealed.
I'm gonna play it, and then we're gonna talk about it, how it happened in real time.
For the first time in All Stars history, you are both winners, baby. We have a tie.
But before we talk about the tie, this is part of the reason we were late tonight. Damon and I rarely take liberties with the show to go outside the realm of Drag Race, but this is adjacent, and this needs to be said.
Totally.
Shout out to James Mansfield, one of the funniest queens that's ever been in the history of RuPaul's Drag Race. I watch her on her YouTube channel. She does wigs. She does looks. She's a kooky queen. She's funny and had the best Twitter response of all time to this ending. And y'all should recognize it. And if you don't, God damn it, learn yourself something and go watch a movie.
And the winner is... we have a tie! Tie? Oh my God. What you mean tie?
What do you mean tie? Girl.
For those of you that don't know, that is an audio clip from the movie To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. In the beginning of the movie, RuPaul is Rachel Tension, a drag queen host, who reveals the winner of a contest on stage. And this is the moment that Vita Boheme and Noxema Jackson are both revealed to be tied winners.
Of
And
the
that
contest.
is Noxema Jackson going, tie?
What do you mean tie?
What you mean tie?
Oh, it's just hilariousness.
Oh my
and
God.
I love how the connection, like, just weirdly connects it. So thank you, James Mansfield, for giving us that moment. I'm sure I honestly had forgotten about that part in the movie. I remembered it once I heard it again. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie, and I'm just being honest.
It's the best 10 seconds in existence of the herstory for what happened on Friday night.
And the winner is... We have a tie!
Tie? Oh my God.
What you mean tie?
So let's talk about this as it happened in real time. For those of you that have not seen, you need to go to World of Wonder. It's WoW Presents on YouTube. There is a, I think, 4.5-5 minute video. And these are stills from that video. I made David watch it before we went live because he hadn't seen it. This is literally in real time Miss Monet Exchange and Miss Trinity the Tuck in the Abbey, which is a gay bar in LA. I say it's the Abbey because from what I know of that place, this fits the look of the place. So they are in a bar. They are sitting on a Chase lounge. They are watching a big screen in the bar of the reveal of who's winning. Now, this has been a running theme for years now that they do this, let's watch the queens learn who wins moment.
And so everyone is aware, like 9 times out of 10, they show they film each queen or all the queens winning because they don't want to spoil anybody, and it's only in the television episode when it airs that you find out who actually wins.
Which is why this is such a goopery. So here we have Monet and Trinity. Now, before we get into the sequence of shots I'm going to show you of what really happens in 5 minutes, which feels like an eternity. The only thing I have to nitpick about this background is all these people. These are LA people, and I am fucking irritated beyond belief that it is looked like a staged, like, set. These are supposedly people that paid who knows how much fuck ton money to get in on this live, like, reveal. There is not a fat bitch in a bunch. They are all nice and properly dressed and, like, clean looking. I see one person of color. Like, I just got issues across the board with all the people in the background. The fattest bitch in a bunch is this blonde right behind Monet wearing the black pleather jacket. Like, she's a thicker girl, but she's not big. And I'm like, do you know how many Drag Race fans are fat? Like, you're looking at 1, 2 of them as co-hosts of the show. Like, I see them everywhere. I see them at DragCon shots in the background. Like, not everybody is picture perfect, for the record.
It was so, like, again, like, it was so funny, like, watching, like, someone, like, so how did this party that we mentioned happen? He announced it through the Yap app at NAB that he was going to be doing it. And it was very cool seeing people saying, like, oh, we're going to go watch it, da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, you had a very interesting mix of people. So I don't think I talked about it really quickly, but there were 2 rooms that were connected. I think these guys were from Tennessee area. And like the rooms were pretty full, and it was varying sizes of the guys, varying ages of guys, various, you know, races and what have you. Big boys, small boys, you know, everyone watching the show, talking a lot of shit and talking all the time, but not watching the show, you know. And it was very funny. Like, I don't think this would have been, like, I almost took a picture because I was thinking about it. I was like, this would be a really fun picture to take. But I was like, I don't really know everybody. I don't know anybody in this room.
Right.
So let me just not do that. But it was just very interesting because I sat in the far corner of the room and could capture everyone that was watching. Um, but yeah, there was not a I mean, while there were a couple of smaller guys at the beginning, most of them left to go to the comedy show. Um, but for the most part, it was everyone, and it was very different people, and it was very cool that we were all kind of connecting as bears watching the drag race
Right.
crowning.
So now that I got that off my chest about the bullshit background character actors,
Ooh, girl.
I'm calling it out. Like these people may legitimately, have paid to be there, but they just seemed a little bit like central casting for my taste. So that being said, we have a whole series of shots to go through here. So this is Monique starting to have heart palpitations. Like Monet. God, I can't wait until I get to a season where I can remember a queen's name correctly. That'll probably never happen. It's only like 160 of them now or some shit. So Monet is there. She is starting to do Lamaze breathing because she is in the moment. So Trinity never stops looking at the screen. This is Monet putting her hand to her chest. Like she's like, you could Monet is giving all the emotion. Not that Trinity's plastic surgery means she can't have emotion. She is just like a dog or a deer in headlights. You know what I mean? Like she is just
glued to that screen.
Right. She is just transfixed, waiting for the moment that she is announced. So it's funny because this whole thing's only like 5 minutes long, this video clip, but it takes forever for them to get through the beginning towards the announcement. This moment with Monet with her jaw dropped open is the moment Rue says there's a tie. Trinity's still looking, still staring. Now, I put up a stop here because I want to point out something, all right? Behind Monet is John Pauly, who does like extra lap recap on YouTube with WoW Presents. He's part of World of Wonder. He has been involved in the entire series since the beginning. He's a cute like little daddy guy, and he's very quippy, very funny. I guess he's part of the crew that helps give Rue some of the fun, like punny things to say, helps with the production of the show. So I spotted him in the background. And then on top of it, I was like, who dat? Like John Pauly's in the background, and he got this cute, scruffy looking guy and a ball cap next to him. I don't know if that's John's boyfriend. Hey. Or not, or, whatever.
Or not. Hey.
Yeah. But he's cute.
Yes.
And then we get to this next second later. So the announcement is happening. Rue has said that it's a tie. Now, John Pauly is staring at Trinity for like a second to 2 seconds in this video because he can hear Monet. Monet utters aloud like her excitement. Mm-hmm. She's in the moment understanding. Trinity still not on the planet.
Not so much.
Still not understanding. It is cracking me up to know that Trinity is just like frozen like a statue, staring at the screen and not understanding what's happening in this moment.
God.
So then we get back to the two of them. Monet is even more excited. Trinity not getting it. Close up on Monet. Monet is like living. She gets it. Monet still gets it. Trinity turns to Monet. Trinity doesn't understand. This is why it's such goopery.
Yes.
We go back to screen. The guy next to John Pauly in the background is clutching his pearls. So, hey, girl, I see you. I recognize your accent. I mean, like, so you understand that, like, people are getting it. People understand. Monet is still... She's in the moment. She's got it. She understands. Trinity is puzzled. Still confused. Monet is excited because the announcement is coming that both of them are winning the money. Both of them are winning Crown and Scepter. So they're not doing any of this bullshit that they share it or that they split it.
Yeah. Confuzzled.
Trinity is so confused.
Like like it's like the wheels are like sitting there, like the gears like they're not there yet. Like I don't what's going on? What I don't know what's going on yet. Maybe, and then
so She finally begins to understand. Trinity turns to Monet and she says, "We win $100,000?" Like, and it's so funny. And then Monet's like, "Yes, girl. Like, we each won $100,000." And then comes one of the gaggiest moments in the live reveal. So the picture that we're looking at is a famous drag queen approaching the stage with a crown and scepter. Behind her is another gentleman. We don't know who he is. He has a crown and scepter as well. So there's 2 sets.
Yep.
I put this graphic on there. Check this fantasy illusion moment, because when I showed it to Damon, he clocked it wrong.
Yep.
Because it looks like
Trixie. It looks like Trixie.
It looks like Trixie Mattel. It is not. It is Katya.
What?
Dressed as Trixie. I believe Trixie is abroad right now or about to go overseas. I believe she was already booked. She couldn't be there for Friday night for the live reveal in LA. So they got Katya painted by Milk, I believe, to look like Trixie. So Katya is wearing what looks like a Trixie wig and a classic Trixie pink outfit with a gold belt. So damn funny. It's both awesome. They both win.
Yay. They both win.
Yeah. So
are we ready?
Here's your new Hall of Fame. There's 5 of them. And then
5 of them.
Beautifully that very night, Casey Musgraves had a live performance. It must have been in LA, because within, I think, 2 hours of the ending being live revealed, or maybe within an hour, Monet and Trinity were on stage with Casey Musgraves when she sang High Horse. And they were both in these numbers with their crowns and their scepters. Mm-hmm. And there's video of it online. Monet is giving me Playboy Bunny fantasy realness in this like cotton candy, like
blue. Yeah.
This taffy blue. It's so beautiful. Trinity looks amazing in this lilac, like pageant house down. It's amazing. I love the shot of the 3 of them doing their lips in the mirror backstage. Like, while I don't know Casey Musgraves that well, she is by far stepped beyond what any other pop star has done of late in terms of the queens. I mean, she's really rising to the Christina Aguilera, Lady Gaga, like Miley Cyrus level of like interest support fandom kind of thing. I just thought that these were pretty awesome for their post crowning moment. So we're gonna get to quite possibly the most tea spilling part of the show. Shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best all-star win.
So we didn't say what our thoughts were on the crowning. We'll back up to that. Damon?
Oh, girl, that edit. So, obviously, and this is just, I'm going to say this with spilling so much tea, this was not the original plan. Obviously, one of them was going to win, because so if you've seen the episode, you know what happens. They're saying, like RuPaul is saying, oh, you both won, it's a tie, you're both winners. However, you don't see fucking RuPaul at all. You see, you're seeing shots of Monet and Trinity going back and forth. You see the queens. You see the judges after it's all that kind of is in there. That is clearly a voiceover, clearly done to kind of like reveal the 2 queens, and then you start showing them winning the crowns together. Mm-hmm. Ain't together, y'all. It ain't together. It is clearly one of them winning and going first, and then the other one winning and going next, and it's going back and forth between these horrible edited like moments, because so obviously what they had with filming was here's one queen winning and here's another queen winning and them talking about them winning and which is traditional like one person winning kind of thing. And they mashed it all together to kind of make it so it looked like they both won. The editing was atrocious in this moment because it's just so fucking painfully obvious to me, and I hated it. Watching it, like not watching it the first time, because by that point, like I was so like gagged and gooped about the whole like fact that both of them won, and trying to process that reaction. I think I wasn't really paying attention to everything. Watching it the second time, I'm sitting here looking at this, and I'm like, that what? No, that don't make no sense. Like this is clearly them showing the like taping of each of them winning. You know, even like the hugs and stuff from the other girls and them hugging together. The hug between Trinity and Monet is the one where Monet won.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you're just getting all of these little things, and I'm just like, I'm supposed to believe that this was the original thought. No, this was not the original intent, and that makes me mad. So fucking mad. So again, going back to, I was watching it NAB. When I was there, the first word that came to my mind was this was so fucking anticlimactic that it bothered the piss out of me. I don't know how I didn't know how I felt. I kind of feel the way now. I'm kind of like, actually, okay, y'all. Okay. This feels like a cop-out. This feels like an honest to goodness, true fucking cop-out. They didn't want one to win over the other, so let them both win. And that's it. Like, they both won. Like, okay, so no one can get mad because they both won. Well, I'm mad. I'm mad because what you've essentially done is you've not given us an all-star winner. You've given us all-star winners, and to me it's not enough. Like, we needed to have picked one over the other, and I understand maybe you're trying to save face, maybe you're trying to do something for the community, maybe you're trying to like not show that you're not potentially, racist or whatever. Maybe that's what you're trying to do, but this kind of feels like if it had been edited that way, if that had been the ending of it and they both won, so be it. But when it's clearly not that and now it is that, no. And if I get it, maybe you're trying to do it to like not spoil blah blah blah, but it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. I was very upset, and like now talking about it, I'm like, I'm pissed off because I feel like it cheapens it in a sense. Yes, they'll both get crowns. Yes, they'll both get scepters. Yes, they'll both get $100,000. Yes, they're both in the Hall of Fame. But it just doesn't feel like a true, genuine win to me. Gary.
Damon, you could read it on the doc. What I said, what I wrote was what she said. Part 2.
Yep.
It was so obvious this was not the plan. Now,
yeah.
Here's what I find interesting. Bianca Del Rio has revealed on stage. You can find, I don't know where and when it was, but she's talked about it on stage. It's on YouTube. In her season, when they went to the top and they won, they actually made them do a tie winning and recorded it. It was her and Adore. And she talks about it in her comedy because she says Adore was like, "Oh my God, how exciting!" And Bianca's like, "Uh-huh." And so they put the mic up to Adore, and she's like, "How do you feel?" And Adore's like, "This is amazing. I'm so happy. I'm so proud to like share this with Bianca." And then they put the microphone in front of Bianca, and Bianca goes, "Party." And that was her delivery. Because she didn't know how to process the fact, because it was like a last minute decision. Like they had each of them individually run the runway that they won. And then they were like, "Oh, wait. We need to do one more." And then they announced that it's a tie between Adore and Bianca. And Bianca was like, "What?" And so it has already existed in the legacy of the herstory that they prepared a tie.
Yeah.
So that's the part that makes me upset, is the fact that it is a tie and you fucking didn't prepare for the tie.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the live reveal video feed for like 4.5, 5 minutes is so like amazing. It's like the best thing in all of herstory to watch, because honestly, Monet gets it. Trinity does not get it. Trinity does not get it for 1 minute and 38 seconds. When she says it took a minute to sink in, bitch, it took longer than a minute for you to finally react and to understand that you got $100,000 and you also won.
Yeah.
Because Monet was first and you were second in the revealing of the
Yes.
tie.
Girl, I'm flabbergasted. So I'm gonna go, like Eric kind of mentioned it, and I kind of agree with him. He says in the live chat, the biggest cop out I have ever freaking seen. It almost gives the illusion that Monet is the token black girl in a list of white girls, and that's why I'm so like upset. Like, and I'll get to this more in like the saps and eye rolls, but like, well, actually, I'll just go ahead and do it. Why don't we, since we've already played,
Just go right into it.
So here's my eye rolls, and I put spill tea here. So are you ready? Are you ready? This feels awful. This feels cheap. This feels like so, like I said, anticlimactic. It feels like nothing. Like it doesn't, like, no props to Monet and props to Trinity for winning and everything else. But as a fan and someone who was looking forward to one of them winning, don't get me wrong, I would have been kind of okay with Trinity winning. However, I think another conversation would have been had. I would have been okay with Monet winning. Mm-hmm. But also, I feel like another conversation would have been had, which would have been, does your, how you do in the challenges and how you do in the overall arc of the show, is that what keeps you or not? Because, Trinity technically had the most points. If you were to go through, I forget, there's a site that used to do it on YouTube where they scored based on like individual things, like you made the top 3, or then you made the top 2, and then if you won the challenge or won the lip sync or whatever, and you got points for it, and that, so how would that have gauged, how well one of them did over the other? Mm-hmm. Dollars to, donuts, whatever you want to call it. Trinity turned it out this season. Monet turned it out this season. Don't get me wrong, but if you were to like put the side by side, if you look at the, go to Wikipedia, look at the thing, there's more wins for Trinity. There's more like probably tops for Trinity potentially. It kind of all works out in a way that kind of tips the scales in her favor. Mm-hmm. Having said that, my problem again is like, this feels like we did this because we didn't want to make waves. This feels like, now you can say we have a queen of color that has won. Now you can say we had a girl that's kind of a bigger girl that has won. You can say these now because now we have one that has won. So yay, we've got our token. Like, yay us. Here we are. Like, we're not racist. Totally. Like, or whatever. Like, it's just, it's becoming problematic. And that's the issue that I think I'm having with it overall, with this at this point. This felt wrong. And to me personally, I feel it takes away from the 2 of them winning, because now you're going to have these thoughts. Now you're going to have these reactions. Now you're going to have this issue. Like, people are already having a problem with it. I mentioned in the Telegram chat that I was spoiled by Twitter. And the main reason I was spoiled was their either VH1 or RuPaul announcing the winners in on Twitter. And girl, you should read the comments that people are making about this thing. There are so many people that are not happy. And I can understand why. I'm not happy. So those are eye rolls.
Well, to tag on to that, my eye rolls, I said the never-ending drama coaster. I think if the idea in awarding both of them the win was to stop the drama, you didn't. It's
Nope.
like, girl, the train of cars came in to the station and it just kept on going. Like, it did not stop. People did not get a chance to get off. It just did a whole nother lap all over again. I want to say this, though. I completely disagree with every single person that's out there that's like, oh, obviously, it's a participation trophy type of contest now. Everybody gets to win. No. No. No.
No.
No. 8 fucking queens did not win. 8 queens didn't get the crown. Most of the 8 queens didn't deserve to win. End of issue. I do not agree with this whole bullshit I keep seeing about, oh, well, everybody gets to win. No, everybody does not get to win. The problem isn't that everybody got to win. The problem is that 2 people won, and up until now, the rules have been 1 queen wins. Always. And this is the key issue I think most people have, which is you keep changing the rules. You keep changing the game. And while it is drama and it gets everybody fired up, and it does get eyeballs watching the series, it also pisses off a hell of a lot of people because they don't agree with the shenanigans of how you're switching things up. And this is by far the biggest stunt pull by the production company in the very end. Because as some people pointed out, oh, so apparently you found another $100,000 lying around somewhere.
Maybe it's when they fired Raven.
That's all I got to say about that. She ain't worth 100,000. Sorry,
She ain't. She wasn't worth.
she didn't win it the first time, and she didn't make 100,000 probably working for them doing makeup. But let me say this: what I want that would be the best, not the best. It would be a better step is if Rue came out publicly and said, "I could not make a decision, so I decided both of them win, and I footed the extra 100,000 and the money for the other winner."
Yeah.
If she came forward and said that, then I think a lot of people could calm their tits and they could say, oh, okay, it's not VH1. It's not the production company. Rue legitimately still has control and ultimately decided this was what was the fairest way to handle it. But that hasn't happened. All we know is that 2 queens won. They did an extra cut of the audio, and then they did the horrible, shitty video edit because they never planned for the 2 queens to win. And I'm like, I don't know which is bigger drama. Shangela not winning last year or both of them winning this year. I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. You can't get away from this drama shit no matter what you do.
Agreed. Totally 100%. Like, it just feel, like I said, it never felt right. It doesn't feel like it was, I don't want to say deserved. That sounds right. It doesn't feel like it was thought about. Like, I agree with you 100%. If they had filmed where they both won and shown us that, and it looked like that, maybe I would not feel as bad, because I think that would have been like, we thought about this possibly being an eventuality. That they're so good, they're both so close that you can't make a decision.
Right.
Like, they're both so good. And I will own that they are both really talented. I've said that several times today. I would have liked that if they had made that perfectly clear. They filmed a version where they tied and they won, and they both got crowns, and they both pranced the runway at the same time.
Well, so here's what I think would have helped them, and I don't know why nobody thought of this. If nobody thought of this, or if Rue did not agree to do this, then shame on whoever the responsible parties are. Yeah. Instead of showing that shitty edit, it would have been better if they had Rue done up in face to camera saying the words that were the edit and not ever showing them walking the runway with the stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, that to me would have been the better way to go about it. Yes, it would have been a pain in the ass, and you'd have to go back. And I don't care if you green screen the backdrop, which I think is already green screened, like for Judges Panel. Like, you could have easily fixed this for a video shot and done it. Hell, you could have done it on a goddamn iPhone and then had the video graphic company make it look like the real deal. It's just so disappointing the way it kind of played out. It's like you could have skipped the obviousness of one or the other winning and redid the last 2 minutes or whatever, and just simply put Rue up there announcing that, yes, for the first time in history, both of them are winning and both of them are going to get stuff, and just never show the edit. Don't show what you recorded of them each individually winning.
Yeah.
You didn't have
said,
to do that.
Eric says if it wasn't the intention for it to be like that, the edit ruined it for him. So agree. So we've gotten all the negative out. I think maybe possibly. Wait, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say that was why it was so important to me to talk about what happened in the live reveal, and the post crowning. I wanted everyone to understand what happened in real time, because yes, we're talking about a television show, and it's for entertainment, and it's it's just a contest, and people win money, and somebody got to lose. Ish. Here's the thing, it's so obvious that it was a later decision than in the moment when it was filmed. And it's just more disappointing than anything that they had months to get ready for this. And they didn't. Maybe they thought going into the finale, when it was airing, let's say the past 2 weeks, that they knew clearly one was going to win over the other. And maybe they thought it was going to go to Trinity, and something changed. But you can't tell me that you can't get your ass in front of a camera. You can't get somebody, it just seems so impossible to me that you couldn't fix it. It seems like you took the shittier way out to end it. So.
Agreed.
Damon, who are your snaps for, if you have any?
I do actually have snaps. My favorite moment from this episode, the funniest time I had, despite all of this crappy that we've just been talking about for whatever, is the cartwheel clip. The cartwheel moment where it's during the choreography, doing with Tiger Hall. He asked him about can they do a cartwheel, and it's just very funny. You immediately get to Monique, and they show her tragic attempt at a cartwheel in her season 10 Lip Sync for Your Life, and then we go to them trying to do it. Monet's okay, not the greatest, but it kind of works. She's also a bigger girl, so she got a lot to go up, over the side, up, around. Naomi nails it. She's able to work with the guy and all that stuff. Trinity admits she's never done a cartwheel before, or what have you, and she does a decent job. It's not the greatest. And then we get to Monique, and try as she might, Monique is just maybe wait, no, and she just keeps going. It's just so, everyone's laughing. They started off everyone kind of moves back, everyone's oh, let's give her room, and then she's trying and it just, I laughed so hard. Excuse me. I laughed really hard at that because I just thought it was just so funny, and then they're like, we should probably take the cartwheel out, and I forget who says it first, but then you get to Todrick, he's like, not gonna do it, not gonna have it. He's cutting from his, doing the cut at the neck thing. Nope. I love, and that's just, it was just so funny and awesome to me.
For me, my snaps are for serving true eleganza. For once, I feel that some queens actually served us what that means. And it is for the top two. It's for Monet and Trinity. I hate to say it, but we already talked about it earlier, how we feel about the top four, what they brought to the runway. But I feel like two of them so delivered on this. And that's why it's got to be my snaps, because it was it's what I've been waiting for. It's what I wanted to happen. And it was everything that, I felt it needed to be, and deservedly so. And, I'm kind of surprised in a way that Trinity didn't wear the same outfit. I was surprised that Monet did wear the same outfit, to the actual crowning. It's so weird. I feel the opposite, but the same about both of them. The fact that Monet won it, I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at Trinity and I was like, oh, but you didn't. It was so funny to me because I think it would have been better if they both had done it or had not done it. It doesn't matter because I want them to wear those outfits as many goddamn times as they can to get all the money out of it that they can. Because Lord knows that they dropped some coin to make that happen. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely something to behold. And, I'm personally happy for both of them. They won. I'm not in the crazy, mouth frothing fandom that is like flipping out about what took place. It is disappointing the way it was executed, but I am not upset about the fact that the both of them won. Now, I know that there is probably going to be college classes about what this means in terms of the dynamics and like the vision and what the imagery means, because we finally have a person of color that has won All-Stars. And there's so much to be said about that. And I'm hoping for Monet's sake that this does not become a burden in her year with Trinity, that the two of them have to be answering to this. I mean, Trinity will also probably have to answer to it, but I hope it doesn't become problematic that they constantly in press have to answer questions about how does it feel to be the first queen of color? How does it feel to be sharing the stage with a white girl?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's so distracting and it's so dynamically it's just, it doesn't work,
And to kind of wrap this all together, so in our Telegram chat, Smashy sent us an article. This obviously was written before the finale. And essentially it's saying for RuPaul to Drag Race to continue and thrive, they have to essentially kill RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. And I have to say this, I 100% agree mostly with the article in some ways. There's a pool of queens every year for All-Stars, and it gets smaller and smaller as you grab queens out of it, to do it. Like this year, like I think it mentions like half the queens were from seasons 9 and 10, which were kind of the two seasons in between All-Stars 3 and All-Stars 4. Actually not in between. It was actually part of both. All-Stars 3 came after season 9, and All-Stars 4 came after season 10.
Right.
All-Stars 3. Anyway, so it's just very much this like, I agree that I think we need a break. Yes. I think we need some time. We need a couple of years before we do another All-Stars season. I understand that it's a moneymaker, and VH1 and all that stuff is probably like counting the coins and looking at it and going at it and oh my gosh, can't wait to do it again. We are 2 weeks out basically from season 11.
Thank God.
We get a break. We get a break of a week or so before we have to start, watching another season and going through it again. And then we have that season, which is more queens, more, challenges, more things were going on. And then as we've noticed, if the trend continues, we will have an All-Stars 5 and then a season 12. Like if the trend, as it's been going for the past couple of years, continues. And that just seems so awful, so disrespectful, so, like it seems very, capitalism. It just feels that way to me, that we're trying to win on this cash cow that we have now. Everyone's glad that RuPaul made it, the Drag Race made it got an Emmy and it made it to mainstream television. It's now on VH1 and all that stuff. No one can not deny that those are really awesome things. But because of that, we're now dealing with, as the article kind of puts it, reality show antics and things. We're gonna have to have these twists and turns because that's what the audience wants. They're looking for those weird random things that come out of nowhere to kind of heighten the suspense of the show. That's not what RuPaul's Drag Race was about when it started, and I hope that's not what it becomes.
Well, I mean, it kind of already has, and that's one of the things. Like I think in our Telegram chat, like Q made a comment about that it's now about the money, it's about the finances, And I replied and I was like, well, it's always been about the finances. Season 1, they had no money, and it shows like how the production value was and how it was handled. Now they got more money, so now they handle it differently. And I'm not trying to defend VH1 and WoW and all the rest of that for what they've done. I just want people to recognize, like, it has always evolved. It has always changed. And that's part of the problem. Like, people who have been fans since the very beginning are the ones who are struggling because they don't like all this crap. Crap being, put it in the list, girl. Like, you know, the lack of this and all of this and the shenanigans and the blah, blah, blah. You know, like, you could make a list, a whole body tattoo of everything that people got problems with. Here's part of the issue, too. We keep watching.
True.
Until we stop watching this show, they won't get the message. Until the ratings go down and people really deliver a message and say, I'm not putting up with it anymore, it may continue to happen. And it's shitty because that's not the way we want it handled. We want our voices to be recognized. I mean, and it's so weird. It's a double-edged sword because we spent years between All-Stars 1 and All-Stars 2. It kept getting brought up at DragCon. It got brought up every time, you know, Rue was in an interview, when Michelle was in an interview. They kept saying, when are you bringing back All-Stars? When are you bringing back All-Stars? And they said, well, we don't know. You must know something we don't know. And then finally, you know, VH1 was like, let's do All-Stars. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they and Logo and their parent company, you know, all worked together and was like, well, let's make this thing happen, but let's fix it because All-Stars 1 was a disaster.
Yeah.
I feel like now, weirdly, they're trying to fix disasters, but they keep fixing a disaster with another disaster. Like, there was really nothing wrong with season 2 All-Stars.
Correct.
Outside of Alaska's meltdown, which was actually great television. Yeah, I mean, Roxy being carried on to the end was kind of out of their control. And it's merely because of how the show is structured at the time. And still is, technically.
Yeah.
Through season 4. So, you know, for me, like, there wasn't really anything wrong with All-Stars 2. So they decided to use a reality competition trope and pull in Survivor weirdly or whatever and put the dismissed queens on
a jury.
Right, in a jury to make the decision. And that's when everybody was like, whoa, nobody signed up for this shit. Just like in season 1, nobody signed up for teams. So they took that away and they fixed it this year. But the fix was that they actually had 2 winners and they didn't prepare appropriately. So now, like, the dumpster fire just keeps happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, sequins and synthetic wigs burn hot and bright in a dumpster fire. You are fucking it up.
Yes.
Like, I don't care if it's Anastasia Beverly Hills or not. That shit is made from fat burns, and it's hot. And you just are messing it up left and right. And it's just so disappointing. It's like, come on. How Hollywood are all of you out there making this show? I mean, that's what it's really starting to come down to, I feel like, is like just not getting it. Like, they're just not stepping outside of their goddamn box on the West Coast to understand how the overall fandom does. Put up a fucking poll, run a national survey, put it on the website, and work with the tech people that can track the bots and get rid of the bullshit, the votes. And honestly, you know, American Idol this shit or whatever, you know, let people actually say how they would like some things to happen. And the key one being no more ties, no more jury shenanigans. You know what I mean? No more teams. Yeah. Like, you know, make that stuff kind of understood. So I said in the Telegram chat, my hope and my prayer to any patron saint that may exist that would listen, they're going to do a UK RuPaul's Drag Race. Apparently, the way it's been promoted, RuPaul and Michelle are judging it. It is officially a RuPaul Drag Race show, unlike the Thailand situation. So RuPaul and Michelle Visage are supposed to be going to the UK and judging the UK version. And then I think his name's Andrew Carr. I'm not quite familiar with him very much. And Graham Norton are the other 2 revolving guest judges. Kind of like Todrick is revolving. I say it that way. But it's confusing because some of the PR reads like they're actually supposed to be semi-permanent, like Carson and Ross. So now I don't know quite how that's working. My hope, though, is that by having a UK season, we get a break. I would be perfectly fine with a regular season and then a UK season that I have to figure out how the fuck to get BBC something or other to watch. I would rather deal with that and take a year or two off and then come back to All Stars again. And maybe in All Stars UK at some point in the future. I don't know. But, like, my God, like, now we're going to have 3 concurrent seasons apparently recorded in a year. And I'm just like, the fandom would like to be able to, like, rest their brains and everything else.
And enjoy the crowning of a queen and the win of a queen and let them, like, have a title year.
Right.
As opposed to a title like 3 months or 8 months or something along the line, or in the case of like Trinity and, and Trixie, even like a week or 2 before we start another season. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it becomes very obvious that they're churning them out for the sake of, money.
And if you need to have more than one season in a year, space the fuckers out.
Yeah.
You can honestly do a show and then another show 6 months later. Believe it or not, people will watch. Your fan base is that rabid. Your fan base loves it enough, despite all of their vitriol online, how they react to shit. They would be willing to watch a new one every half a year. I could handle that. I think you can handle that, Damon. Like,
sure fucking good.
I could watch it for 2 months and take a 4-month break, and then watch it for 2 months and take a 4-month break, or even 2.5. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
We need some time. I need to breathe.
Like,
here we go.
Right, and I am happy about the fact that we got the premiere of the new season wrong, because we originally thought that we were going to never rest and that this coming week we were going to watch a whole new season, but that is not the case. We will have a 1-week break. Damon and I get next Sunday back to ourselves, thank God.
Ooh.
For one night.
Sorry, y'all.
And then we get to jump into season 11. I was going to ask you, Damon, about doing a preview show, but I don't want to because I'm tired.
I don't need a bitch. Love you, mean it, but can I get a day off?
Well, right, and that's just it. Like, I realized, and then we're going to jump into a new season with 15 queens, and unless they eliminate, like, multiples at a time, it's going to be a long season. Because that's at least 12 to 13 weeks, plus any repeat, let's bring them back storylines.
Shenanigans, yeah.
So this season will not end until after
Pride.
Yeah, probably. It might almost take us all the way to July 4th again, like last year, which is kind of crazy. Which technically means at that point we will have done Drag Race for nearly 7 out of 12 months. Just so everybody's aware out there.
Girl. Hi.
like Philip said in the live chat, let the anticipation build. It is a tool. Use it.
So fucking true. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I totally agree with that. Like, that's like when we used to watch it and we used to have like months waiting for it. Like, we didn't know who the queens were. We didn't have any of this, like, kind of it was very cool to kind of, it was that anticipation, like looking who's about to show up on the runway. Even with things like All Stars, when you didn't necessarily know who was going to be in it, it was kind of very nice to kind of know that and feel that, like, oh, like, awesome. Like, this is great. Like, I can't wait to see who the queens are that are going to be, trying to win this crown again.
Yes. All right.
Well,
so that being said, we have reached the end of our episode. It's been a doozy. It was even a 2-parter, thanks to fucking Spectrum. If you would like to get in touch with us and your internet hasn't cut out in the middle of a live broadcast, you can go to our blog, which is cubsoutloud.com. You can send us an email, which is cubsoutloud@gmail.com. You can even leave us a voicemail message at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. Hell, you can even leave us 2 voicemail messages. Start one, cut out, come back again. See how there's a theme? Fuck you, Spectrum. Social media, if you want to get in touch with us, just type in Cubs Out Loud as one word. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, obviously, all of that. For the Entourage social chat, if you want to join the kitty cubs in there, you can go to tinyurl.com/telegram-COLDR and join us over there. Obviously, now that we're airing the discussion of the finale, the what do we call it? the lockdown is done, so everyone's
Yeah.
probably going to start bitching or complaining or celebrating in there. If you want to support us, you can go to Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud and get merch from there. Unfortunately, Damon and I are not having any COLDR stuff on us. I'm wearing my Cubs Out Loud ball cap, but in recognition of the ever-talented, fabulous Todrick Hall, am wearing his Vogue unicorn as fuck gay sweatshirt that I got on his tour last year. If you would like to subscribe to us, you can. It is patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. I obviously need to mute the chat before the audio blows up on my end. If you would like to promote us, you can go to iTunes. You can rate us. You can give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe anywhere that a podcast is if you want the audio version. If you want to get in touch with either of us individually, Damon, how would they reach out and get in touch with you?
That happened a lot this weekend. Anyway, so if you wish to, girl, it was Bear Run. You know what happens. If you want to reach out and touch me or get in touch with me, you can do so by either connecting with me as TheaterCub79 on most Bear sites, or on Facebook, or you can find me as pup_Umbra on Twitter.
If you would like to get in touch with me, I'm pretty much found anywhere online as GareBear73. That's GARBEAR73. Wow, that was weird. That being said, as RuPaul has said, and even created a song, we're all born naked and the rest is drag.
I'm telling the truth now. I'm telling the truth now. We're all born naked and the rest is drag. Who do you think you? Who? Telling the truth now. Who do you think you? We're all born naked and the rest is drag.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Whoo.
Girl.
I'm looking at the time. Good God. Wow. Hi.
So, over 2 hours. Well, we started late, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the
Technical difficulties.
whatever
Yep.
the fuck that shit was.
Uh-huh.
So now I got to figure out what to do about that. I can make one audio show. That's not a big deal. But I don't think I'm going to be able to fix it on YouTube. So I think I might label it part 1 and part 2.
Yeah. Unless it all kind of came together. It looks like it maybe had, but we'll see.
I don't know. We'll figure it out from there.
All right. Well.
That's